start with my flagship loco D7014. This came as an unpainted kit from Model Engineering Supplies of Bexhill. It is based on a Class 35 Hymic diesel hydraulic loco, and the colour scheme is as this loco was when it was withdrawn around the early 1970s. And this is what you got in the kit: an unpainted moulded fiberglass body, some laser cut metal chassis and bogie frames, the motors and wheels and gearing, and also the necessary wiring and the parkside control box, obviously instructions as well. And there's the body before I'd cut the windows out and painted it. Now let's have a look underneath. I've made this device to lift the body off, just a piece of metal under the roof, and I tapped a screw thread in it for this handle that I've made. Just lay the body carefully down on its side, and this is inside the glass fibre body. There's the computer fan, which I've geared down, and some bits of Lego there to make a little desk for the driver, some wiring for the LED lights, also some tail lights as well. And now this is looking at the chassis. There's the speakers for the sound system, the two-tone horns, some two 12-volt car batteries, and the connections for the sound and the horns that go to the hand controller, and also connections there for the lighting to the body. And there's a battery that works the geared down computer fan. And there's a switch there for lights, so you can have headlights or tail lights or both. And this side there's the M-Tronics sound system, which is got a chip in of a Class 42, but that's near enough to a Class 35. And that's the Parkside control box that does all the controlling of the motors, and speeding up and slowing down. And this is the hand controller. That's a dead man type hand controller, so that if I fell off it would automatically stop. And these are some quick release clips for the batteries. These batteries I've had since 2012, and they have done very, very well, actually lasted all that time. Now I'm just unclipping the motor wires from the control wires, and so that we can lift the chassis off. And you'll see how it all comes apart. There's an MCB there in the power circuit to the motors. Now we'll just lift the chassis off the bogies, and there they are, the 450 watt motors. This just makes it easier to carry it around, because if it's all together it is very, very heavy and quite awkward because of its length. Now this is another body I bought for the same chassis. This is D7036, again a Class 35, and this is in the original colour that loco was before it was scrapped. The decals, by the way, are from Fox Transfers. Now those two engines you just saw racing past were these two. They were scratch built by a friend of mine who was off work at the time, and I've adapted them to run in multiple. That is, you can work them both from one controller. I've repainted them into the green and yellow, etc., and I fitted a horn and the headlight. They're the two-tone horns in the cab of the first Loco. They've been wired in multiple, as I said, so they can be worked together. They work only together, they can't work separately. This Loco has the Parkside control box, 24 volt control box in there, because they are operated by two 12 volt batteries and two motors on each locomotive. There's one of the batteries and a couple of MCBs just to protect the different circuits. They're all metal construction, very solidly built actually, but very heavy. There's the battery on the lead Loco, and there's also wiring in there for the little LED headlight. Now, one of the problems with these Locos is they were built on some old fairly unsprung chassis with quite a long wheelbase, and because of that they're pretty unforgiving on some of my tight curves, so I tend not to use them very much. But I have used them on straight tracks, and yeah, they're very good solid running locomotives. Now this is Ruston. This was a partly built maxi track kit. There were a metal frame and wheels and motors, but not much else. So I've had to scrounge some bits and make some bits for it to finish it off. But it's a lovely little Loco, works on this track a treat, and will haul 2 or 3 people comfortably. Just waiting for to go across the track. And the train's going past. That's the Now this is Ruston again. Let's just have a closer look. It's quite a lot of it I made out of timber actually to add a bit of detail to it. Some of that is wood, and the side skirts, and underneath a lot of it is 1/2 inch plywood. It's a metal cab. That's the control. Originally the control for the power was actually on the desk inside the cab, but I rigged it up so it could be handheld. It's the main isolating switch, and we've got a little switch on the controller that works the horn. And inside the cab is a switch for forward and reverse that I'm operating there. As I say, it's a super little Loco, very popular with, or was very popular with people with small garden railways. It's just 2 little motors, but as I said, it will comfortably pull 2 or 3 people. Inside is the 12 volt car battery. Again, an MCB to protect the motor circuits. You can see the plywood I've used to make up some of the body. If we just unclip the battery, if that helps, it's quite a snug fit. And there again you can see a lot of it is plywood. There is a metal chassis underneath, but virtually everything else is wood apart from the radiator front and the actual cab. Everything else is timber. Now let's have a final look at everything. Start with the brake van. I made this myself, basically out of plywood. I just had to buy a set of wheels. This bogie passenger truck was from Compass House. I've just made some better seats for it and an end panel. The little riding truck was a kit from Maxi-Track. And then of course we have another Maxi-Track kit, the Ruston. Then we come to the two scratch-built shunters. The numbers and the names are based on my grandchildren's date of birth and their names. And we have the Class 35 in the green livery, named Daniel Gooch. Then my steamer Alice, which I have done a video on, and I'll be doing some more once I can get it working again. And then we have the blue body for the Class 35. I've used all these engines except Alice, giving the public rides on ground level tracks, raised and portable tracks. That's at Isfield on the Lavender Line, Riley's Railway. This one was at Hayling Island, and this was at a country show in Kent. And now they've all come to the Grange Road Miniature Railway to have an easier time.